Deputy Leader of Government. You have many amendments to read. Honorable members, in the absence of any amendments to the order paper, we shall now proceed to consider the record of votes and proceedings. And this is record and votes and proceedings of the 13th sitting, Friday the 18th of August. We shall skip pages 1 through to 4 and start from page 5. Any amendments? I've just been advised that the clerks at the table were not able to identify the seconder of the motion. Who seconded the motion? Very well, let's return to the votes and proceedings. Page 5, any amendments? Page 6. Page 7. Thank you. Can somebody please move?
I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any second?
I so second, Mr. Speaker.
I hope this time you've been able to identify both the mover and the second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Record of votes and proceedings for Friday, 18 August 2023 has been adopted. Announcement by Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I'm trying to clear my voice. The very first announcement I have is to welcome all of you back to this noble chamber of the House of Parliament. I had hoped, quite sincerely, that this time today, instead of welcoming just one side of the house back, I was hoping with the help of
Your hope will come true.
God Almighty that I would have done so together with the members of the opposition, all of them. But as the old adage goes, it is always better late than never. I understand from the grapevine that the members of the opposition are on their way coming. But the only thing is the pace at which they are coming is at a snail's pace. And only heaven knows how long it will take for them to reach their final destination.
Very soon, very soon. Very soon.
But let me recognize the acting leader of the opposition, who now doubles as a member of the ECOWAS panel. And on behalf of the House, I want to extend our very hearty congratulations to him as the newly sworn member of the House of the ECOWAS Parliament representing our party. I have not seen the other member. Is he around? Oh yes, and I will invite the other representative of this parliament to the ECOWAS Parliament to please stand and be recognized. The Honorable Emerson Lamina. Congratulations to both of you. Now let me come back to the thorny issue of the honorable members for whom my arms are still widely stretched to welcome. I'll welcome them heartily whenever they come. And please convey this as the leader of the opposition. But let them remember that the invitation I have extended to them to come and take their seats is not open-ended. This is a house of laws. We make the laws of this land. And make no mistake, we must be the first to respect the laws of the land for other people to follow. And when you respect the law, it means respect for the law, the sanctity of the law. That's what it means. Nothing more, nothing less. This sitting today, since we started, will be the 23rd sitting of this sixth parliament. I repeat, the 23rd sitting of this parliament. What this means is that we have only 7 more days to go. 7 sittings more to go to the date of closure. So I'm ready to welcome the absent members of parliament, provided when they come, their coming will be consistent with the provisions of the law. If their coming takes place outside of the ambit of the law, then I'm afraid you'll have only themselves to blame. Not Mr. Speaker, not the clerk, not any other member of parliament. This is the 3rd time I'm urging them to come and take their seats.
The final one.
Thank you. The 3rd and final one, says the acting leader of the opposition. Well, you know, even, let me use the analogy of a child and parent. If the parent wants, the child wants. And he does it the 2nd time. And he's forced to do it the 3rd time. I'm sure we all know, bearing in mind our cultural practices, what the consequences will be. SO5, they will say, you don't pass back. So, for the 3rd time, I'm urging the absentee members to please consider SO2, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Selo.
People are afraid with their SOs, eh? Thank you. I see consultations right in the well. Right in the well by very senior. So, on your behalf, members of Parliament, and on behalf of my humble office as Speaker, I charge you, acting Leader of the Opposition, to kindly convey my message to your colleagues. I'm yearning to see them take their seats. It will be a great pleasure for me and the rest of the House to see them take their seats. But time is running out, and we're running against time. I've analyzed very clearly to tell you how many cities we have made and how many remain. And you know, to say, Mr. Speaker, please compromise, please be lenient. Let me again remind the Honorable House that this is no ordinary law. This law about absenteeism is contained in section 77 77E. Should be read in conjunction with the standing orders. And the standing orders is 77-2. The reading of the combined provisions convey a very clear message. And that's the message I'm asking the Leader of the Opposition to please deliver on behalf of the House, and more particularly on behalf of Mr. Speaker. I thank you very much for your attention.
Mr. Speaker, may I say something? Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as acting leader of the opposition, I want to reassure this House that the honorable MPs, APC, they are currently engaging the government on a consultation, and I'm pretty sure that this week ending, they will be taking their seats. So your warning will be the last I know. They will be here. No, I'm talking about it.
They will not answer that question.
Laying of paper. Honorable Matthew S. Newman, Majority Leader and Leader of Government Business.
Thank you. Back. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Laying of paper. Report on recommendation of the currency of Sierra Leone. Speaker, I beg to lay on the floor of this House report on the recommendation of the Consensus presented to Parliament on Friday, 6 October 2023. So, Mr. Speaker. Yes.
B, the Minister of Energy.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, with your leave, I beg to lay on the table of this honorable House the following papers. 1. The 148.5 megawatt power purchase amendment for the Western Area Power Generation Project, EC. 2. 15 megawatts solar and storage power generation project, Newton. And 3. The 28.2 megawatt Betmai hydroelectric project power, Pampana River.
Motion of the Committee on Appointment and the Public Service. Proposer, Honorable Matthew S. Numa. Seconder, Honorable Bashir Sidiki.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the first session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone, the 7th report of the Committee on Appointment and Public Service on parliamentary vetting of presidential nominations. Introduction. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the Committee on Appointment and Public Service, in tandem with its constitutional obligation, met on Tuesday, 10th October 2023, and interviewed 7 presidential nominees for the following positions. 1. The Chief Executive Officer.
Hold on, please. May I have decorum in the House? This is your leader. Your leader speaking, and I hear noises from the government side of the House. No disrespect can be greater. Proceed, please.
We'll take care of that one after. Immediately after.
Immediately after.
One, Chief Executive Officer of the National Public Procurement Authority, NPPA. Two, the Director General of the Sierra Leone. What are you doing? Why can't you call them now? You should call them now. A minute, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think we did enjoy ourselves. We did it last night. You know, if you take this second time.
No, you did not only enjoy yourself.
Not me.
You over-enjoyed yourself.
Mr. Speaker, not me, but your class.
Especially
you know
New
your
York.
performance. I don't know how to class them. All right, that's the justice. Right. Mr. Speaker, I continue from where I stopped. Two, the Director General of the Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority, SLCAA. Three, the Executive Director, National Procurement Health Agency. Four, the Commissioner, Youth Commission. Five, the Chairman, Monument and Relics Commission. Six, Chairman, Board of Directors, National Public Health Agency. And seven, the Chairman, the Environment Protection Agency, EPA. Procedure. The committee maintained its usual consistency and established procedure and interviewed the aforesaid nominees on issues pertaining to their educational background to ensure that they have the relevant education and necessary backup experience to lead such important offices of state. Probing questions covered wide range issues relating to track records pertinent to their declared assets, tax obligations, and vision for sustainable and productive change. Issues of unsuitability or otherwise were also strictly looked into by the committee. The 9th sitting of the committee on Monday, the 10th October 2023. Mr. Speaker, you see, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Leaf, I beg this my deputy to take it out of this place. This is a modern parliament. I'm using the desktop to read my report. Here are the deputy speaker, they are busy giving them serious undertone. So I don't even know what's going on these days. No, the speaker, your parliament is a more advanced parliament now. They should block you with that, but they are not doing it. Instead, they are criticizing you, your deputy, sir. And they get so much that they are continuing also to remember. This is stand 7 and stand 11 now.
SO2 set fire.
Ninth sitting of the committee on Monday, 10th October 2023. The committee interviewed the following nominees on oath. 1. Mrs. Musa Hiro Bari. Proposed Director General, Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority. Take note of the correction, it's not Musu, it's Musa Hiro Bari. Mrs. Musa Hiro Bari is an adaptable, result-oriented, driven person with an outstanding background in company management, business development, and cross-cultural expertise for conducting both local and international transactions. She is capable of managing supply chain disruptions and building relationships with relevant stakeholders. Prior to this appointment, she served as country director, Westminster, Sierra Leone, an international security outfit of the Luge International Airport, that has given much security credibility to the airport by assessment of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. The nominee holds a bachelor's degree in philosophy, in psychology from Brunei University in the United Kingdom, a master's degree in business administration, MPE, from the University of Leicester, United Kingdom, and a diploma from the Chartered Management Institute in strategic management and leadership. In our response to the committee on what she would deliver at the Civil Aviation Authority, Mrs. Barry acknowledged that the aviation industry was a constantly changing world with emerging legal ramifications daily, but was going with an open mindset to learn and work with the already established team to realize the expectations of the government. Second nominee, Mr. Fudi Janga Kone, proposed executive of National Public Procurement Authority, Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Fode Janga Kone is a renowned accountant and procurement specialist with vast experience in management and policy relating to procurement and supply chain management at local and ministerial levels. He holds a master's degree from Robert Kennedy College, Manchester, United Kingdom, in procurement, logistics, and supply chain management, and a plethora of international accreditations at various planning institutions worldwide on procurement-related courses and trainings. Mr. Kone has worked with many government and development partners with credible records. From 2014 to date, he has been managing the procurement cadre of the central government and local councils in assessing value for money in all procurement dealings. In his response to the committee, he said he was happy to have the opportunity to work at a regulatory body and emphasized that capacity building for staff across all sectors was very key for both manual and automotive procurement solutions. On the issues of the procurement directorate, in the Ministry of Finance, the nominee said it was a civil service creature that raised much concerns in 2016, but the MPPA still remains the regulatory body. Third, Professor Fode Sir, proposed executive director, National Public Health Agency, NPHA. Professor Fode Sir is a fine soldier, a renowned professor, and a public health specialist with a plethora of proven scientific research records, globally exhibiting astute competencies and exceptional management skills. He is currently serving as head of Department of Microbiology, College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, Allied Health Sciences, University of Sierra Leone. He is the Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Sierra Leone. He has 149 research publications to his credit, and most of which he co-authored. We are going to repeat that one from the great Kisima. And the Kisima was the profile of the Kisima. He has 149 research publications to his credit, and most of which he co-authored with Professor Iya Pakima, the proposed chairman of the Board of Directors, the National Public Health Agency. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the nominee outstanding research attracted world attention at the height of the Ebola pandemic in Sierra Leone, when he used the infected blood of Ebola survivors on Ebola patients who were in critical conditions and were later able to recover. Responding to the committee on what he would be bringing to the NPHA, he said he was quite aware of the health sector and promised to work with the board and health professionals to realize the dream of the Public Health Act. 4. Professor Iya Albert Bakima, Proposed chairman, Board of Directors, National Public Health Agency, NPHP. Because I made mistakes. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, Professor A. Albert Bakima is a seasoned lecturer and a scientific researcher, and with vast experience in molecular microbiology and immunology from decades and in and out of the country. As an outstanding lecturer and researcher, Professor Bakima has involved in many WHO researches and training seminars globally in the field of disease control, prevention, and other interventions. Professor Bakima also served as focal person and consultant in key health institutions such as USAID, Global Fund, HIV and AIDS, West African Health Organization to address disease conditions of malaria, tuberculosis, etc., etc., and environmental health assistance. Apart from many volunteer and consultancy services, the nominee served as a country director, USA, and provided training and supervisory role in making sure that staff safety and health conditions were maintained. He later served as Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Ministry from 2018 to 2021 to support and strengthen the technical and vocational sector. Make that correction, please. And vocational sector in the middle educational system to achieve human capital development and resourcefulness. Professor Bakima is still recognized as a key cornerstone in the country's educational transformation system and health interventions drive. From the appointment in the health agency, it's like bringing the professor home. He has done extensive research with his former student and now co-researcher, the current proposed executive director for the same agency in question. Brigadier General Professor Fode Sir, responding to the committee inquiry on his contributions to the NPHA, the learned professor said, quoting him, "I will work with all professionals to build a strong public health structure." 5. Dr. Joseph Kaifala. Proposed chairman, Monument and Heritage Commission. Take your seat, sir. Dr. Kaifala is a lawyer, writer, and consultant in many freelance consulting services in the area of international law and human rights. Mr. Kaifala started his early education at the Sierra Leone Grammar School and proceeded to acquire his Bachelor of Arts with honors in French. Skidmore College, USA in 2008. MA International Relations, 2011, and Zurich Doctorate, Vermont Law School, United States, 2013. He is an outstanding writer with several honors and awards internationally in the field of education, conflict resolution, gender, human rights, and host of others. The committee was very interested in his passion for relics and monuments exhibited over the years, especially when he was discovered that prior to this appointment, he was serving the principal for Center for Memorial and Reparation. It's a traditional justice institution, facilitating remembrance and collective narrative around the brutal Sierra Leone Civil War, 1991 to 2002. He is currently the director of Joseph Kaifala Consulting in the area of human rights and justice. From the considerable experiences in project management, the young educationists promise to attract world attention, especially UNESCO, to the rich and seemingly unnoticed Sierra Leonean monuments and artifacts. Number 6, Mr. Ahmed Atata Mansari, Award Commissioner, National Youth Commission. Thank you. Mr. Ahmed Atata Mansari is a barrister, a law and a communication expert with in-depth knowledge on policy formulation and implementation on youth programs and plans for integration into national development agenda. Prior to this appointment, he served as field manager, Minister of Field Affairs, where his key responsibilities were to plan field visits and projects and expedite monitoring activities of all projects. The articulate lawyer promised to lead to the expectation of His Excellency in job creation and promised to challenge and rehabilitate youth engaged in drugs abuses, wage war on drug dealers, and reduce increasing illegal youth migration to foreign countries. Take you to the correction. It's not 7 now. Dr. Abubakar S. Masakwe. Environment Protection. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Dr. Masakwe is a seasoned consultant and educationalist with admirable experience in environment and development as well as climate change phenomenon, both local and global. Prior to this assignment, he was a consultant, policy and institutional analyst for coastal zone management of Wetlands International Africa. He has a profile of academic degrees and research papers to his credit. Dr. Masakwe promised to strengthen the upward trajectory of the MPA's progress on climate change and environment protection as espoused in the environment policies of this country. Recommendation. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the committee adjourned the following nominees, presidential nominees, to be adequately qualified to their proposed appointment and are therefore recommended to the House for approval. 1. Fudi Janga Kone, proposed Chief Executive Officer, National Public Procurement Agency Authority, NAAG. 2. Musa Yirobari, proposed Director General, Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority. 3. Professor Foresa, proposed Executive Director, National Public Health Agency. 5. Joseph Kaifala, proposed Chairman, Monument and Heritage Commission. 5. Professor Iya Bakima, proposed Chairman, Board of Directors, National Public Health Agency. 6. Mr. Ahmed Atata, proposed Commissioner, National Youth Commission. Dr. Abubakar Masakwe, proposed Executive Chairman, Environment Protection Agency, EPA. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the 7th report reflects the unanimous view of the committee. I therefore move that the 7th report of the first session of the Committee on Appointments and the Public Service be adopted by the House, and the recommendations contained therein will be approved. Faithfully submitted, read by the Chairman of the Committee, Honorable Matthew Sanuma, JP. Thank you for your attention.
Thank the leader of government business. Any seconder?
I so second.
Honorable members, the question is that the 7th report of the first session of the 6th Parliament of the Committee on Appointments and the Public Service be adopted by the House, and that the recommendations contained therein be approved. I think we can comfortably dub this day as the day of the health professors. The day of the health professors, but minus the microscopes. I only hope that they will not leave the microscope too far behind when they go into their new offices. And I'll give the floor to the seconder of the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to begin by thanking His Excellency the President for presenting this nominees for approval to the House. Mr. Speaker, what the President has done is within his mandate asked by the Constitution, and what we are about to do is also enshrined in the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as representative of the people, as representatives of the people, we are bound by conscience and by morals to do due diligence, because His Excellency, the many sierraleoneans, have decided to choose these nominees to help him in achieving his agenda. So the nominees, you've been selected from many of the people who voted for His Excellency and those that did not vote for him to achieve his agenda. So you are expected to perform and not to disappoint His Excellency the President. If you disappoint His Excellency the President, you will not just be disappointing him, you will be disappointing this Parliament and by extension the people of Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I'm pleased when I see young people presented to this Parliament for approval. It shows some of us who came in very early have been able to stand the test of time, and we have encouraged the leadership of this nation to believe that young people can perform. And ever since we took over governance, we can boastfully say the executive arm of government is 60% or more of young people. Thank you, His Excellency the President, for believing in young people, because no president before now, and I stand to challenge those that will be coming, with the bold and brave enough to bring young people in the fold of leadership. The young people selected, you've been selected to represent us. You are the guinea pigs. If you succeed, you are succeeding for young people of Sierra Leone. If you fail, you are failing the young people of Sierra Leone. Please do us proud. Please deliver, because the young people who will be left behind, His Excellency is moving us. Because before now, we used to be the future leaders, but today, the future is here. We are the leaders. So please, the fact that His Excellency has bestowed this confidence in you, please make sure you deliver. Mr. Speaker, when appointees come here, we heap praises on them. Some of them perform, some of them fail. But at the end of the day, we members of Parliament, we are the biggest losers. A few years down the line, we'll be presenting ourselves to the people of Sierra Leone for voting. But these appointees, they will not be presenting themselves. But we, members of Parliament, will be answering questions of their performance. Today, on our side, we have 30 or more MPs that did not come back because they were not able to answer questions that were put to them during the elections. So if you fail, who will be the losers? Who will have to face the people? They will have to ask those questions. And some of the questions we don't have answers for. But I want to assure you that this is a new Parliament. I have said, and I want to challenge this Parliament, that going forward, we should make sure we perform our oversight function without fear or favor. Mr. Speaker, when these appointees are nominated, you see them coming around Parliament. They behave as if when they go to these offices, when we call on them, they will respond with the speed it deserves. But sometimes, Mr. Speaker, it is heartrending to see members of parliament calling on appointees. They don't even pick their call. They don't. You see members of parliament visiting appointees. They keep them in their waiting rooms. They keep them. You are far junior members. You are far junior in terms of governance. When members of parliament visit your office, they are not visiting you to beg. They are visiting you to talk for their constituents. They are bringing issues of their constituencies. If you don't listen to them, you don't listen to their cry, that means you are not listening to the people of Sierra Leone. We are the only persons that the people know. They know our phone numbers, they know our addresses, they know our offices. Some of you, Speaker, honorable members, our constituents don't know them. So, Mr. Speaker, when members of parliament visit you, please open your doors. Please pick your calls. Please treat them with the utmost respect they deserve. And to committee members and committee chairmen, please, we have said in this parliament, committees are now going to be given as per performance. That's why the Constitution is very clear. These are sessional committees. If you don't perform, you are not going to retain your position as chairman. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me zero in on a few of these nominees. I'll begin with Fudi J. Kone. Mr. Speaker, Fudi J. Kone and me, we entered both schools the same year, the same day, the same class in 1992. Where is my small boy, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, that's why I said the president is brave and bold enough to believe in us. I have been a member of parliament for 10 years or more, and I have been a leader for almost 4 years. That's the trust and confidence of Excellency. Fudi J. Kone, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, in our class group, when we were in both schools, it was FODI. Today, he's a very strong man. He's PHODI. That means with time and with growth, even the name has grown from FO to PHO. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, me and Fudi J. Kone went to the same university. One thing I can say for sure, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Kone is a very intelligent young man. He's a very intelligent young man. When we went to university, he did not do procurement. But after university, he was very passionate about procurement. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I can say here without fear of favor that Mr. Fudi J. Kone is the most renowned, is the most senior procurement officer in this country. Is the most senior procurement officer. Mr. Kone, you've been selected based on your experience and education. You've been selected to regulate the procurement institution. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the leakages in Sierra Leone is done through procurement process. The leakages is done through procurement process. Mr. Speaker, when we do our oversight, when we do our committees on supplies, when we ask questions, Mr. Speaker, it will interest you to know that the procurement institution is ripping up this country, Mr. Speaker. If you see the amount these institutions put for even air tickets, it's unbearable, Mr. Speaker. Even air tickets, they inflate prices. They inflate prices. Mr. Fudi J. Kone, you have done the good, you've done the bad, you've done the ugly. Today, you are in a position to regulate. You've seen all of the things that have happened. Of course, you've seen the challenges, you've been part of this problem. Today, you are now in charge. You are in charge to correct the wrongs. Sierra Leone will not move forward if we cannot save this country economically. And if we cannot talk to our procurement officers. Mr. Speaker, when we do a committee on supplies and you see the rate at which Sierra Leoneans and the nation is being ripped up through procurement process, you begin to wonder, those asking, those doing the procurement job, are they Sierra Leoneans? Are they? Something that is cost 10,000 leons, these people can put 50,000 leons. They can put 50,000 leons. So, Mr. Colley, you've seen it all. You've seen it all. Please save this nation. The person that was occupying that seat did his best. We knew, Mr. Speaker, the challenges between NPP and the Ministry of Finance, NPP and other authorities. You have gone there. Please help us. The country is starving. The economy is not good. Procurement officers should be cautious. I was happy when you said capacity is a problem. You said you are going to strengthen capacity. Because not knowing is even corruption. Because not having the knowledge is corruption. Because bad procurement are being done. So please go there, save this nation, make His Excellency proud, make this Parliament proud, make class of 1992 proud, and make sure we deliver for His Excellency. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the lady going to civil aviation, she's young. I don't envy her at this moment, Mr. Speaker. In terms of air transportation, Sierra Leone, come to Sierra Leone, it's the most expensive. It's the most expensive. I don't envy your position. Mr. Speaker, when we did the SUMA contract in this Parliament, we had expected that with the new airports, with so many facilities, air transportation should be reduced. But today, Mr. Speaker, we are losing many Sierra Leoneans to countries like Guinea and Liberia. People are traveling through that road. People are using that route now, Mr. Speaker. Because the taxation is huge. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, a few days ago, I bought a ticket to Ghana. $850 just to go to Ghana, Mr. Speaker. $850. That's too expensive, Mr. Speaker. You can spend twice of that amount when you want to go to America. If you go through Guinea, you will save almost $1,000. So what has happened, Mr. Speaker? You've noticed that people are now moving to Guinea or to Liberia and travel from that route. So, Madam, the position you are taking is not an envy. It's not. You will be faced with challenges of that nature. You will be faced with a situation in which you have to challenge the airport authorities. What is the problem? We have passed in this Parliament a lot of regulations. And we are told when these regulations are passed into law, it will reduce air transportation. We've done a new bill, a new act of civil aviation. We have strengthened the airport authority. What have we not done as a Parliament? Doing all of that, the expectation is prices of tickets to Sierra Leone will be reduced. In fact, for the longest time, we've not seen tourists coming because it's expensive. If you go to Gambia, you go to Ghana, you see a lot of foreigners going to those countries. Even our brothers that want to come for holidays, they cannot afford their tickets. So, Madam, you have a lot in your place. You have a lot. I don't envy you. I know that sector you are taking is very, very challenging. You are young. So please save us. Your predecessor tried. He tried his best. We hope you can do better. this parliament have confidence. Because soonest we'll be using in the house, but we don't want to reach that situation. We now have our players, even our international players, they're using on our house rather than our airports. Look at the inconvenience. Please make sure you deliver. Engage. This parliament is available. When you have challenges, there is a committee responsible for transport. Face the committee. Talk to them. We are here to help you. What we do today as young people will be part of our report in the future. The greatest challenge we have as young people, if we fail now, we have so much time. The difference between us and the agent, if we fail, we will die. If we fail, we will live as young people. If we don't perform, and what, as young as we are, we have occupied the highest position of state. We are too young. The only thing that will keep us at that level is performance. Because if we fail, we'll be young, we'll not die early, we'll still have time, and people will tell us we'll fail. Our children will tell us we'll fail. So please perform for us. Perform for yourself. Perform for your family. You know the situation. You've been working at the airport. You know the challenges. Please perform. Because every day we travel, we cry. Every day we buy tickets, we cry. Every sierraleonean, even government officials, that's too huge. So you are wish well. Have the support of this parliament. Whatever you can do to enhance your job. If you need this parliament, I can assure you, we'll give you the fullest of support. Speaking on behalf of the leadership of this house, we'll give you the fullest of support. Because every sierraleonean is crumbling in the air. When we travel, we meet our friends out of this country, they cry. Us who travel, we cry. So please, 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 you know people are happy for you. Everybody is here to celebrate with you. But after today, we cry with you, grumbling about you, don't perform. You are wished well, you are expected to perform. Wherever your challenges are, there's a committee responsible. If you cannot meet the committee, you come to the leadership of this house and we'll give you the maximum support. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, my younger brother is now a doctor. Dr. Masakon. Very young and very intelligent, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he said to EPA, Mr. Speaker, personally I did the interview for him. He was able to mesmerize the committee and we were very impressed. He is top-notch, Mr. Speaker. He is on top of his game. He has been in that industry for the longest period. From college, today, he has been part of that industry. You know the challenges. You know the problems. You've been a consultant. You have served in that institution. Every Sierraleonean, look at the climate situation. EPA, wetlands. Our wetlands are gone. Wetlands are gone. People are backfilling the rivers. Go to the slums. People are backfilling the rivers without responsibility. People are building up the hills. Our lands are ravaging our lands. The mining sector. Mr. Speaker, climate change is the boom today. You've told us, you've done a lot of research around that. You've done a lot of paperwork. Please make sure you save us. Look at the rivers. There was a committee formed in this parliament to look at the rivers. Now when you go to our villages, the rivers are now brown. People are mining illegally. And sometimes they do that in collaboration with your staff. collaboration. We have a lot of Chinese around, foreigners mining illegally. They have polluted our waters. Today, diseases are all around the community. So you have a lot. You have a lot. You have a lot to do. At this point, I am pleased His Excellency is bringing in young people who have the energy. And He's challenging us that if we fail, as I told the lady, as young as you are, if you fail, you are not dying now. You will be alive and people will tell you you failed. You will live with it. Trust me, if we fail, we are going to live with it. I know you will perform, I know you have the experience, I know you have the zeal, the courage. Even the manner in which he was answering questions, you see the passion in him. Please use that passion. Please. And the committee is there, the parliament is there. Whatever laws you want us to review for the enhancement of that sector, come with it, we'll do. Whatever you want, we'll support you. Because this is the period of the young people. Let us not disappoint His Excellency. Let us do the things our elders are not able to do. So that when we become elders, we will sit and tell our young ones that this is what we do. We change the face and the narrative of Sierra Leone. His Excellency have challenged us. Dr. Yawish well, we know you perform. You are very serious. I've known you from the university. Of course, you've done a lot of research around. So you know the problems. You know if you cannot change now, you are not new. If you don't succeed, that's for you to say. But you must succeed. Parliament will support you. I'm telling you, this parliament, very progressive, very willing to support you. Mr. Speaker, as a son of a military officer, I now zero in on Brigadier Professor Sir. Mr. Speaker, Professor Sir is a very, very, very astute officer. Mr. Speaker, Professor Sir and my mom used to work at the Matatico Military Hospital. He's a father figure. He has sojourned a lot around in the military, in the educational sector. Now you've been brought to your field. Dr. Fode Sir, you've been chosen when we are doing the bill and creating that office, Mr. Speaker. I asked the minister who pioneered that bill, that's why do we want to give the position of Director General to the President to appoint? He told me in secret that that position, we want to reserve it to the most senior doctor in that direction. Today, you've been chosen. You know what happened in Ebola? We are not prepared. As if we did not land, Corona came. Now, we have a situation, we have an institution like the CDC in America. We should prepare in time. Look at the buildings. They are dilapidated. Structures, monies have been spent. Trainings have been done. Make sure we now prepare for any eventuality. Use the office well. And to the man going to the board, Professor Takima. Mr. Speaker, whilst I was seated and the leader called on Professor Takima, what comes to mind was, when we are a minister, and when we are creating boards, we should all bear in mind, even as members of parliament, that these are our offices, these boards. Tomorrow when you leave this office, when you leave parliament, or you retire as a minister, you will serve this board. But we have a situation, Mr. Speaker, ministers look on board members as if they are inferior, forgetting that tomorrow these are their positions. Today, you are a board chairman. Wherever you are, the way you've been treating board members, that's the same way the minister will treat you. If you have not been respecting board members, you don't expect the minister to give you the same respect. If you have treated board members badly, you expect same. But if you have treated them nicely, ministers will treat you nicely. So to the ministers, board members, these are our positions. So when we make laws, I even remind them members of parliament. We have members of parliament, we have board members. So treat them well. So then you are minister, so you can be board member. If you treat them badly, tomorrow when you are board member, you will be treated badly. If you treat them with respect, when you are board member, you will be treated with respect. We have board members, we have ministers who have no respect for board members. Some ministers even deal with director generals rather than board members, just to make the board look very redundant. So this is a learning curve. Nobody is too big or too small to learn. When you are a minister, treat people nicely, because these are positions you hold to know. So please, master your wishes. The same way you treated others, the same way you will be treated today. You wish well, we hope your minister will work with you. Will work with you. This parliament we used to go to you for SMG. The way you've been treated, the way you always treat us, everybody will treat you. If you've not been opening your offices for us, don't open office for you. So please, this is just to inform all ministers and deputy ministers, and all ministers and deputy ministers, that when you occupy offices, treat people as if that is not your permanent office. These are temporal offices. These are temporal offices. These are temporal offices. Some people, even when they occupy offices, even when they make the laws as if they are going to permanently stay in that office, forgetting that tomorrow His Excellency can change you. So the ministers, be careful. We are here permanently for 5 years. You know, we are elected. You know, we benefit when we hear press release. As it has pleased His Excellency, we know we will serve. Our business is to interview and approve. Because when the whole offices, you pretend as if you are bosses. You are not. You are very junior officers to us. Very junior officers. Ministers, you behave to members of parliament as if you are bosses. When you come for interviews, you'll be running after us, going to our offices, begging us to approve you. When once you get his office, when you go to the office, able to open your doors, able to pick our calls. You are far junior. We are praying for His Excellency every day. Those that are not performing, please drive them. Those that are not picking our calls, please drive them. When our party people go to visit you, you don't talk to them. These people suffer for us. You are appointees. Our party people suffer for us. These are the people campaigning. These are the people going under the rain. Bad roads. And when you are fortunate to be appointed, when they visit you, you treat them like a piece of rice. These are serious threats. These are temporary. These are temporary. So my brother Ateta, my young brother, I know you are blushing. You've been choosing to lead young people, NYC. You know the problem. I know you for love in opposition. I know the way you cry. You have suffered. If you behave like others, we'll remind you. If you behave, trust me. Honorable members, trust me, this is serious. After that, it's not He's a grassroots man, Mr. Speaker. Young man. He suffered for this party. This is a man who transversed this nation for us to be where we are. He has been rewarded. And you'll be rewarded to represent young people and to save us. If you behave like the others. No, if you behave like the others, we know that if you behave like the others, we remind you. We know people who suffer. When once they are given position, they forget that they have been suffering. They forget. If you behave, you are my smaller brother, I'll advise you to behave, respect yourself. They have to be running to you. Use ideas, get jobs, use training. Capacity problem, drug abuse is the order of the day. Drug abuse, push. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you what, my village, Mr. Speaker, the level at which our young people are taking push is unbearable. Mr. Speaker, the future is being ruined. Push, what is the NYC doing? No more sensitization.
I keep hearing this word. Push.
It's bad.
Honorable member, I say this with all seriousness. I hope in the contribution that your colleagues will make, they will educate some of us. You have not come in, you don't know what I'm about to say. You will educate some of us what the composition of this push is. I keep hearing this word push, and I've seen the impact and the effect of push on video. But what is it made of? Now, are the ingredients local or foreign? Or both? So please, if you are able to elaborate, please do so for our own edification.
Mr. Speaker, you know, this push thing, I'm happy the IG is here. I'm very happy the Minister of Internal Affairs is here. Mr. Speaker, even the police are involved in this. Trust me. Trust me, I'm telling you, Mr. Speaker, it's no joke. Our children are dying. Our children are dying. And police officers are involved. Those that should arrest the perpetrators are part of the game. Mr. IG, Internal Affairs Minister, you need a lot to do. Mr. Speaker, we have no future. We have no future. In fact, those days, SO2 they say Jambaba. In fact, Jamba now slow.
No. Again, in all seriousness, one of the things I've indicated from the very beginning of this 6th session is I'm going to institute question time. And senior officials of government will be brought to this chamber to answer questions. It's about time we take accountability to that level.
Mr. Speaker,
Go ahead.
when you go to our village, to my village for instance, when I went there, they told me 80% of the young boys are drug addicts. Mr. Speaker, this can be funny. The level of theft in those villages. Somebody even told me that these boys will even steal their mother's pants. Trust me, this is true, this is fact. And the teacher came to me and said, "Hey, Honorable, say the picking don't come." And his best friend died of kush. When his father told him, "Have you seen?" You know what he told his father? "Let's go to Papa, all man get away for that." Trust me, Mr. Speaker, this is unbearable. Our children are dying. Our children are dying. The future is going. The police should step up. They should step up. Maybe we are not feeling the pinch in the city, but go to our villages. This parliament should step up. NYC, and that sensitization. Explain the harmfulness of these drugs. When we were young, we used to hear no sensitization. This is alarming, Mr. Speaker. We can be laughing with it, we can be joking with it, but this is very serious. Some few days when I went to my village and we were explaining, Mr. Speaker, and near the shelters. This is extremely, extremely serious.
Listening to you, it really reminds me of a key provision of our Constitution. Maybe we've reached the time when we should be considering implementing Section 29
Exactly.
of the Constitution. If you don't know what it says, if we reach the point that as he has described, this House should seriously consider supporting a motion for the declaration of a public emergency
Thank you very much.
to address this issue.
I support you wholeheartedly on that. And I will advise His Excellency to President to consider that. This Parliament will give him the fullness of support. NYC, this is for you. If you don't take up that one, even if you create all of the jobs, you have nobody doing them. Even if you do all of the training institutions, you have nobody going there. Because the youth are poor. So please, help the young people. It's not just occupy these big offices, it's either the corner of the people. When you go to the ground, go to our villages, go to the ghettos, go to the universities, go to the colleges, go to the schools. And like you keep going. Of course, so the man went to the Relics Commission. Our culture is gone. I'm happy, even your dress shows you are very traditional. Our culture is gone. Mr. Speaker, if you have noticed, for the longest time I've never worn coats. I've been wearing Africana. That's to show I am a traditional sierraleone. For the longest time, and the people have realized this has been my normal dress. I've never had it, but I've so please, Master, revive our culture. Our culture is gone. Everything we are now doing is Western. Even our attitude is Western. Even our attitude, our monuments, our relics, nothing. We have nothing to show as Sierra Leoneans. Even to give gifts now, we don't even have gifts. We have nothing to show. Go to the beach. Was very lively place. Oh, everywhere is bar. Nothing to show. No heritage, no nothing. I am happy. I've been following you on Facebook. You are my friend. Please do your best. You are able to convince us at the committee. Please, you have our support. If you want us to review the act, come, we will review. We will help you. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you the appointee. You are answerable to us. You are. And Mr. Speaker, if these appointees fail, we are failed. If they fail, we will not allow you to fail. We will not. We are now going, this is the 6th Parliament and the final term of His Excellency the President. This is a period for us to leave legacy. So we are following up on you. We are doing our oversight. SSA, Committee on Transport. When once she take office, call her so you sit. We are going to work with you. We are going to follow you. We are going to support you. Because if you fail, we will be voted out. His Excellency's legacy will not remember His Excellency for nothing. Final term, he has challenged us, he has brought you in young people, Lots of grumbling, lots of challenge, everybody's crying, but His Excellency believes in you. Do you know the pressure His Excellency is under? Please save him. The only way you can save His Excellency from the grumbling of our party, from the grumbling of party officials, from the grumbling of Sierra Leone is when you perform. Your faith. Please. Thank you very much.
After listening to the deputy leader, I was not expecting. No, let me be frank. He has raised a number of salient points. No, wait a minute. You know, this is not the occasion where everybody needs to have a bite and share it. I don't think I will entertain more than four speakers after the deputy. He said most of the things that I'm sure all of you want to say. Your numbers are increasing. Two ladies, two honorable ladies, two honorable gentlemen, and one paramount chief, if any. I will give the floor to the deputy whip for one reason. He's representing the western area, and that is where this push business is.
Mr. Speaker, I want to start my submission by looking at the clock. Time is almost 12, and I want to move that SO5 to be suspended.
Second to that motion.
I so second the motion, Mr. Speaker.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are continuing in the spirit of the standing order. I would want to start my submission by looking at a critical issue raised by the Deputy Leader 1 of this House. That is the issue of the price of air tickets. Mr. Speaker, let it be known and let the public understand that us in this 6th Parliament, and for those of us that were in the 5th Parliament, we already met the 4th Parliament and passed an act in the Finance Act of 2017 on Section 5, the Foreign Travel Ticket Tax Act of 1975 was amended. And it was that amendment that introduced a number of increase in air ticket taxes, ranging from $25 for economy if you are traveling to ECOWAS country, to $50 for business class, and $75 for first class if you are traveling across the ECOWAS sub-region. And if you are traveling beyond the ECOWAS sub-region, you are going to pay $55 if you buy an economy ticket, and $170 for a business ticket, and $250 in tax for first class. Mr. Speaker, why did I start here? Because the fact is
the public and our colleagues in the opposition, what they enjoy is to use the misfortune and the bad laws that they have passed and place it on the head of the SLPP, that prices or ticket prices or air ticket prices are in the increase and they are skyrocketing because the SLPP has introduced new taxes. Mr. Speaker, that is not true. It is incumbent on this parliament, and thank God we are very close to the budget cycle, to ensure that when the next finance bill comes to this house, we look at this 2017 finance bill that was passed and signed to see how we can amend some of these taxes so as to ensure that it reflects on the price of air tickets. But that notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, as we amend, or as we are going to amend, should it be on the bill or not, we must consider it. But as we consider it, Mr. Speaker, we must also look at the fact that at the airport, you have Sky Handling Partners there, you have Westminster Security there, you have Secure Report there. All of these agencies, they have entered into a concessional agreement with the government of Sierra Leone. And in all of those concessions, the means of repaying or the means of recouping their investment in those security comes from taxes levied on air tickets. So, and it is impossible, Mr. Speaker, virtually almost all of us have traveled. It is impossible to go to any airport without having proper security management. The major challenge with air ticket pricing in Sierra Leone, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that Sierra Leoneans don't travel. We don't travel, Mr. Speaker. If you go to Guinea, you have 5-6 flights full, going to France, going to the United States, going to other countries. But in Sierra Leone, a flight coming to Sierra Leone will have to stop either in Liberia or go through Burkina Faso or Ghana. By the time you get to Ethiopia, from Sierra Leone to Addis Ababa, you would have spent 12 hours. Because you take 2.5 hours from Freetown to Accra, you would have to spend like another 2 hours in transit, and you have another 7.5 hours flight to Addis Ababa, because Sierra Leoneans don't travel. That is why most of the flights that we are coming to Sierra Leone, they are downscaling. Because when earpiece come, you would have 5 passengers going to Ghana, to Nigeria. You would have 10 passengers from Sierra Leone. In fact, most of the people that travel in and out of Sierra Leone are not Sierra Leoneans. So as a result, the business of air transport is making money. You know, in the days of Ebola, when Air Cote d'Ivoire was one of the 2 or 3 airlines that were traversing the globe to come to Sierra Leone, they were making tons of money. At the end of Ebola, when other flights resumed their schedule, they shut down because they did not have enough business as they had during the Ebola. So it is incumbent on this House to consider not only the review, but to also ensure that if we are going to improve on our traveling pattern, we must also improve on our local tourism first. You will see those of us coming from the Western area. I challenge you, not too many of us know beyond 2 districts in this country, because we don't go anywhere. We stay in our house. And in Sierra Leone, Mr. Speaker, what discourages the hospitality sector the more, Mr. Speaker, SO2 na chop money. Chop money. In Sierra Leone, people don't go out and buy food because you think to buy food at any hospitality joint is expensive. So what they will do is you give 30,000 to Mami Fatou, and they will prepare you food. So Choponi has discouraged hospitality and tourism in Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, as I move away from Choponi, I would also want to continue in the vein of talking about money and relating to the Kush crisis, and I want to address the commissioner designate or the commissioner in waiting for the National Youth Commission. Mr. Speaker, if we are going to work on agriculture, Mr. Speaker, if agriculture is going to succeed, Mr. Speaker, if Feed Sierra Leone is going to work, we need enough manpower in the field. And those manpower, those of us that are motorists, those of us that have vehicles, those of us that are affluent, that usually give handouts to boys on the street path, that give 5,000, 10,000 to our boys, making their certain groups, certain clubs, setting cocoons around Junction Park to collect 5,000. In fact, they are chasing your vehicle now. Those of us that are doing that, we are suffocating the president's idea to feed Sierra Leone.
Honorable member.
Yes, sir.
You made very pertinent points. But before you bear on to the other issue, I thought you were going to dilate on another critical fact. There was a time, not too long ago, when our country was a high-risk destination for air travel. The war risk insurance aspect that saw a marked increase in airfares. I thought you were also going to do that.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I note it, but I think I don't want to monopolize the floor, and I know there will come a time when the bill comes to us, whether it is noted in the bill, we'll look at all of those dynamics and all of those issues to take an informed decision, because to come to Sierra Leone, whether it is via air or through the seaport, the insurance cost and the risk attached to our port is very high. So whenever a flight moves or leaves, whatever destination you come to Sierra Leone, the cost
was going to ended in 2002.
Hence the reason, a recent assessment on this airport, on our new airport, shows that we've made marked progress. Before now, we were scoring 17, we were scoring 23, and in the last assessment, I think we are 2 points away from meeting the ICAO standard. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong. And those 2 points we make because it is like an exit audit report. They will provide you the audit exceptions and what they have seen, and your response will either increase or decrease your mark. And what we are waiting for is, I'm sure the Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority has responded, and their response is favorable to ICAO, and those responses, we believe, will solicit the 3 or 4 points that is in variance for us to meet that criteria so that we can be removed from the list of high-risk countries. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to end on that, and I continue on the issue of handouts. You see, if you go to Lumley, you will see at the first junction, the Lumley bus stop, where the church is, you have one group there. If you go towards the bridge, there is another group there. If you come towards Safecom, there is another group there. And in each of these groups, Mr. Speaker, you would have not less than 5 boys chasing after your vehicle. Why are they chasing after your vehicle? For you to give them 5,000, 10,000. And when we are doing that, it is not only happening in Lumley, it happens across the city. If you go to Aberdeen Road Junction, there is another base there. If you go to Aberdeen, there is another base there. Mr. Speaker, the only way we can discourage those bases is to ensure that collectively as a nation, we frown at the act of giving free money, so that we encourage our people to go to the field and work. There is no free lunch in finance. Whatever you receive, you pay for it. Yes, I know it is a political stunt, it's a political trick, but let us stop doing politics now and let's help people. Because if you give them free money, you are aiding them to go and buy kush. Sure. Mr. Speaker, if you give them free money, you are aiding them to go and buy kush. And if I have 5,000, kush is 5,000. With all respect to those that are selling marijuana, they have maintained a stable economy for a very long time, 1,000. Stable economy, 1,000. Because my constituency has a lot of votes. I go around, I talk to people, I do economic research, and when you do economic research, you go to the basement and find information. Those information make you strong, Mr. Speaker. But however, you see, in the 60s, it has been stable for a very long time, Mr. Speaker. 1,000, consistently. And Mr. Speaker, in the 80s, now it's one new news. Mr. Speaker, in the 80s, coming to the 90s, you know, we were made fearful about Kumejara. But now Kush is 10 times stronger than Kumejara. So what they are doing now, Mr. Speaker, those that are bringing in Kush, the police, they know them. Like the deputy leader said. They know them, all of us know. Those that are bringing in Kush, they know them. It is but good. That was why I like the response given by the commissioner designate, that he would not support the act of punishing those that are taking kush. We should go after those that are bringing in kush. Even though kush is not manufactured or grown in Sierra Leone, but the concoction that produce the final outcome that is called kush is brought in by people that we know, people that the police connive with, people that the police work with. I know policemen that are also selling kush. Yes, I know policemen that are also selling kush. I know that police will take kush exhibit to the police station, and those exhibits they will never display, they will never take to the court, and those exhibits will disappear naturally. What are they doing with them? I know policemen are also taking kush. We have seen it. But the point is, it is eroding the human capital.
My colleague on the leg is a very senior member of parliament, and he's been making a very serious allegation to the dedicated force of this nation. I'm not the police on any form of shape, but we
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let us be clear. Let us be clear. I agree with you, he's a very senior member of this house, but so is the deputy leader of government. And he made a similar accusation against the police. And I did not see you right.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
What I want to take note of, when the deputy leader was speaking, fortunately for this house, the IGP was here. And I hope he has taken note of what was said here in the chamber of this house, for him to address that burning issue of kush and the involvement of the police.
The minister is here, Mr.
And the involvement of the police. Is the Minister of Internal Affairs here?
Yeah, of course. It's here.
Where is he? I can't find him. I hope, Mr. Minister, you are taking note. Thank you. Carry on, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker,
No, why not? Why not?
Mr. Speaker, I take his point, and I will let him know that it is not accusation, so let me defend the deputy leader accordingly. These are facts. These are sacrosanct. If you want us to help you, if the police don't have leave, let them come to us. We'll take them to the places. Instead of them going around picking up these little boys that are buying push 5,000, let us go to the hub and clean the hub. No. If you want to clean, let us clean faithfully. So please, Mr. Speaker, let me talk about aesthetic and typifying characteristics of Sierra Leone culture. So I want to talk about, I want to address my brother, Dr. John Kaifala. Mr. Speaker, most people in this chamber and outside realize that our people in the provinces, they seem to be monolithic because our customs and traditions are sacrosanct. Because we have lost our identity. That is why our monuments are rendered powerless. They are rendered unimportant because we have lost that semblance of understanding what our culture really is. Mr. Speaker, if you may want to know the typifying characteristics of what the sewing mask actually looks like, it will tell you the real reason why today marriages don't last long. Because the act of beauty, the aesthetic accentuating features of the sewing mask that train women in the culture of respect. Look at the eyelid of the mask. It is bending downward. It is showing that you have to be respectful. Look at the ridges in the neck. It is showing beauty and prosperity. Look at the hairstyle. It is telling you that Peruvian cannot succeed in our customs. But today, Peruvian, Brazilian, they've taken over. That is why our monument is dying. That is why today, if you go to the slave step, people are using the slave step to defecate, because we have lost the original identity of respect. Mr. Speaker, when people talk about our culture, all they speak is evil. When people talk about our culture, all they say, oh, they are doing this. But nobody is saying that that is not a society. That is a traditional school. Mr. Speaker, that was a school meant to train girls in the act of childhood, childbearing, how to take care of your home, singing lullabies to your children. That is why today, Mr. Speaker, I was a member, I was invited to a sports meet, and there was this event that is called Carrying Your Dog. And the kids, their teachers were, hey, that's not how. I said, no, you should not pressurize the kids. Even them, their mothers did not carry them in their back. So how do you expect them to carry a doll in their back? They don't know. But if their mothers had gone through the institution and they were properly trained, they could not stand in public and insult their husbands. So, Dr. Kaifala, your work to ensure that you revive the monuments of Sierra Leone starts from the very beginning, that our customs and traditions have to be respected. Let people not buy their way to desecrate our tradition. Our tradition is sacrosanct, like every other tradition across the world. When England wants to go to the World Cup of 1998, the then coach of England, Wenger and Eriksson, took them to a voodoo priest. They washed their hands and their feet in blood. That is a tradition. Can we accuse them of defying or witchcraft? No, we respect their tradition, let them respect us. Our monuments, our relics, it seems as if we don't have any. We have Bonds Island. We have the slave steps here. We have the old Fabe College building at Clytown. Nobody is looking at it. Nobody wants to know. There's Plantain Island. We have a lot of monuments that is running down and is running waste. So, Mr. Speaker, I would want to call on him to pay attention on our tradition and to build our monument and our relics. Mr. Speaker, finally, let me end with the two professors. They are both sharing similar characteristics. They were both, or one is still and the other was the past Vice Chancellor and Principal of Fabe College. Both of them have gone through that office. And now they are going to work together. In the interview, I was concerned that Brigadier General Fodesa is being taken away from Fabe College. Because what he has done at Fabe College, he has removed causes like ancient and medieval political thoughts. What does that mean? So then I cannot still remember what does that mean, ancient and medieval political thoughts. Mr. Speaker, the late Joseph Lansana Como, may his soul rest in peace, knows the American history more than Americans. And we sit here as Sierra Leoneans. To date, there is not a pen written about the civil war in Sierra Leone. Not one line. Not one line, Mr. Speaker. So, children that were born after the war, that have grown up into adulthood, they don't know anything about the war. You tell them about what they support, they don't know. That is the problem. And if you're taking somebody like Brigadier General Fodesa away from university, who has introduced modern causes, all due respect to Professor Yakpakima, while he was professor and vice chancellor, I was in university. 1896, he will contact Ibrahim. Oh yes. And there are people, somebody told me one day, oh, you know, I went to Fabe College, I say your number is 29. Mine is 18. So if you want to discuss with me, you have to find your level. My level is way above you. But what Brigadier General Fodesa has done to Fabe College, he has changed everything. And if you're taking him away, I know what they are going to do at the public health agency is going to be fantastic. Because when you look at their resume, when you look at their working relationship, but somebody else should replace Brigadier General Fodesa at Fabe College with similar mentality, similar leadership vision, so as to ensure that the gains that we've made at Fuabe College is maintained. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to thank you for the opportunity you've given me, and I want to say these nominees, they have our blessings today to go and serve His Excellency. Please, after your approval, continue to respect members of parliament. Continue to respect us, because had it not been for us, you will not be. My grandmother would say, "It's not me like to see cape." I will say it again. That's what my grandmother told me. Also to Mr. Speaker, he said, "I mean like to see cape." If we don't have parliament, you cannot be approved. So when we call you, we are not calling you to beg. If you call us, whenever a director, even a director at the ministry, call a member of parliament, at once the member of parliament will pick. If the member of parliament did not pick, he would ensure that he returned that call. But if a member of parliament call a director, talk less of the head, they will not answer, they will not return their call. And it's a constitutional mandate to provide oversight, to represent, and to make law. And we cannot provide oversight if we don't discuss. So please, as you have our blessing, when you go to the offices, respect us and let's work together. On that note, I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Take your seats. I want to thank you for your very constructive contribution to this debate. There was just one thread in your presentation that I want to take and amplify it and invite the nominee, Dr. Joseph Kaifala, to take note. You mentioned something that is so true and so poignant. Those of you who have visited Rwanda, the moment you go to Rwanda, Kigali, for the first time, where do they take you to? The genocide monument. The Rwandans are preserved. You will even see the skulls of the thousands, hundreds of thousands of citizens who were killed during their death. They preserved those skulls for people to see, for visitors to see, for the Rwandans themselves, the children, to go and see. Do we have a similar monument to remind us of the civil war from 1992 right through to 2002? No. So, Doctor, that is a point for you to take note of. We need a constant reminder of that nature. And I'll tell you the impact it will have on the young. When you go now to Rwanda and you ask, what tribe are you? You know what they will reply? I'm a Rwanda. You've forgotten that of being Tutsi or Hutu. It's no longer in their vocabulary. That is the impact that that war, that genocide war, has done to Rwanda. Unfortunately, because we've not preserved the history of our own war, we still speak the language of tribe, of region, of language. I just say this to buttress the powerful point that the member has made. I will now give the floor to the member from Shekbe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I promise to be very brief with my contribution. I think all I wanted to say have been said, but I want to continue on a very different line, Mr. Speaker. Before I do that, on the area I want to focus on, I just want to say to Atata, I will always call him Atata SLPP. I've never met you, but anywhere you go, the grassroots, you hear your name. Do the grassroots proud when you go into your office. I looked across the line and I saw my brother sitting there, former Minister Kalon. Compare notes with all the people that have been there and the ones that are there now. You will do good. I want to quickly zoom in onto my sister, Mrs. Barry. All have been said about the airport, air tickets. For some of us that travel regularly to see our families, we know what we go through. Very recently, Mr. Speaker, I had an encounter at the airport. I will not go into the details, but Mrs. Barry, before her appointment, dealt with that very swiftly, and I was very impressed. She called me on my WhatsApp, even when I have left the country, to make amends for the issue that happened there by one of her staff. I just want to say, continue with what you do best. You're a very fine lady. I have known you past few years, not personally, but through work line, and I know the things that you're capable of doing, and I know you will do well in that department. I wish you well. Mr. Speaker, I want to focus on the two gentlemen that my leader just spoke about, the two professors. I don't know them personally, but they are going into an area of great interest to me, the health area. Mr. Speaker, I'm a public health nurse, and public health in Sierra Leone has been doing well gradually, but it's still of great concern to us. Having the professors going there, we are hoping that things will pick up swiftly, and we can see huge improvements in the health sector, especially the public health aspects. Mr. Speaker, I want to focus on what's happening in the next few months, early next year. I want to use this opportunity to inform this House that early next year we'll be having a series of vaccines, very important vaccines. This year, a lot of us complied with the COVID. From last year to this year, we complied with the COVID vaccine. Next year, Mr. Speaker, let it be known to this House that there will be the Ebola vaccine and malaria vaccines will be available in this country. Mr. Speaker, the Ebola vaccine will be available for citizens from 18 years and above. Because of the availability of what we have available at the moment as a country, we'll be focusing on the vulnerable groups, the frontliners. That is the nurses, the doctors, the police, people that are mostly dealing with the society, the community, the constituents. Us MPs, I believe the minister will tell us that we fall under that vulnerable group because we interact with our constituents. But Mr. Speaker, by next year, March, we'll be having the Ebola vaccine available in this country. We'll be having the malaria vaccine available to infants. Why am I bringing this up? It's because when the vaccines comes out, a lot of public health work is not done on it. Our people are not aware. When the COVID vaccine came out, Mr. Speaker, I remember getting calls from my constituency. They call in Honorable SO2. You don't hear about this vaccine, not to kill the one kill we in. Let me take them. People were curious, they were anxious, whether they needed to comply with it. That would have been mitigated by having the public health sector, educating our people, educating the public. I know a lot of work was done on that in Freetown, but down the provinces, it was not. Let us engage the radio. Let's use every platform for public health education in the country. This is the right time when you go into your offices to start the work on the vaccines that are coming early next year, so that we don't encounter the same issues that we encountered during COVID vaccines. People will be well informed. They will know the effects, the side effects, and the reasons why they need to comply with them. These are general information that we are entitled to as citizens of this country. Don't just go down the provinces and start administering these vaccines without the knowledge of the MPs who can probably engage their radios and educate their people. They are the people's representatives. It will sink in very well if the MPs are aware and they take these information down. So, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to use that opportunity to educate this House that those vaccines will be coming, and also to inform this House that we now have a mental health helpline in this country that is very effective. I tried it yesterday and it was responded to, and the number is 5116, Mr. Speaker. That is the mental health helpline. If you are struggling with mental illness, anything you're struggling with, you need counseling, that is the line to call, and you'll be supported. You'll get somebody visit you. It's important that we know as a country we are moving forward. We didn't have that. It was launched by my able minister just 2 days ago. During the World Mental Health Day.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe you need to repeat that number. What's the number?
The number is 5116.
5116. Honorable members, take note.
And Mr. Speaker, I said this during the World Mental Health Day, that every human being has mental illness. We all suffer from mental illness. It's only when it cannot be controlled, then it becomes an issue, but we all suffer from it. That helpline is very effective. I sat in the meeting on that day and I tried the line and I whispered to the minister, I said the line is effective, somebody picked it. And they asked me how can they help me. That is a positive move, and I just wanted to inform this House about the necessary changes that are coming to the health sector. We are moving swiftly, and I'll continue to inform this House. And I want to say to the professors, please do your work diligently, make us proud. And when you go, we need great reforms, work with the ministers, and let's start to see swift changes in the mental health department, in the general health, and especially the pediatric areas. We need great improvements in those areas. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Lady, for his contribution. I want you to make the decision for yourselves. The question is, must you really talk? What's new that you want to add to what has already been said?
Something very substantial from what other speakers have said.
Because now, the ladies may take their seats and leave the gentlemen standing. Because whoever I choose will be the last gentleman to speak before we wind up the debate. So ladies, please take your seat. You'll be next. Now ask yourself, help me, must you talk?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I will not ask you for your reasons. But search your conscience. Must you really talk? First of all, the nominees know you well. You've already congratulated them. And soon you'll be repeating the same congratulations. Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your understanding.
For your understanding.
Thank you. One from the south.
If that is the only justification, no.
No, Mr. Speaker, we have something substantially different from what other speakers have just said.
He's from where? That disqualifies him.
No, Mr. Speaker.
Let me take somebody from the east.
And nobody has spoken from the south, Mr. Speaker. Nobody has spoken from the south. No, he's a leader. He spoke as a leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I have hearkened to your admonition. I will not be recapitulating what other speakers have said. And I'll be talking on issues of national interest. I will want to talk on the issue of drugs, Mr. Speaker. And for me, I want to come from the point of view of offering solutions. Mr. Speaker, the leader did say the police have been arresting people that they find with push for consumption. Mr. Speaker, it is my view that the police can actually go to the source and get the importer. Once we are able to arrest the importer, the person that brings push in, we will be able to solve this problem. And also, Mr. Speaker, declaring a state of health emergency for the issue of push will not be extreme, Mr. Speaker, because will not be extreme. Will be having a good solution, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for those of us that interact with the public, we know the effect of these drugs on the young people. And the other day I was driving from my house to town. I saw a young man dead with a stump of push in his hand by Mamba Beach. He was really dead with it in his hands. I mean, that would have really described.
I'm happy to hear you speak that way. Maybe we can rely on you to come up with a private member's motion,
yes, Mr.
urging the executive to come to this house with a motion for the declaration of push as a matter of public health emergency.
Mr. Speaker, with that said, I will work on those papers, and I'm sure we'll get the executive to come and do the needful. So the nominee going to Civil Aviation Authority. Mr. Speaker, I am not here to raise praises on this young lady. Mr. Speaker, I have come to know Ms. Musaya Bari for the past 5 years. Mr. Speaker, Ms. Musaya Bari is a Sierra Leonean who worked in her area of employment with a microscopic eye for the advancement of Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, while she was Country Director of Westminster Aviation Security that has its headquarters in Lungi, I came to admire this woman during the Ebola outbreak when she was able to convince our own bosses to maintain Sierra Leoneans on full salary even when the company was shut down for almost 2 years. She was able to achieve employment or get her company to be the highest employer in that part of the country and engage young people in meaningful and grateful work, Mr. Speaker. That is why if you go to Lunge today, I will say while she was there, Lunge was extremely peaceful because of the way she actually chose the ones that got jobs in the company that she was working. She is a patriot who has saved this nation from a great deal of embarrassment regarding this very drug issue, Mr. Speaker, that we are talking about. Mr. Speaker, when you go to Lungi, and I'm happy she's here, she's listening, we are raising all of these issues. Lungi itself is a place where these drugs that we are dealing with do come through. Kush is not being manufactured in Sierra Leone. The last time I deal with the Kush issue in court, the actual leaf called marshmallow leaf comes from China. Some of them, they pass it through Lunge, some of them pass it through Banamuya at the checkpoint from Guinea to Sierra Leone. And they use chemicals like acetone and other chemicals to mix it here in Sierra Leone to give you synthetic Kush. So if those who are working at the border, those who are working at the front gate of Sierra Leone, Lugate Airport and the like, if they are able to come together, Mr. Speaker, to actually arrest the importation of food, I mean, we'll be able to control it even before we pass the law for state of emergency. The other day there was an incident of push at the incident of drugs worth millions of dollars at the Lugate Airport, and the arrest of the drug attracted the attention of all security apparatus, the head of the military, head of police, head of NRA, head of ONS, to actually converge at Lugate Airport and discuss as to the importation of drugs coming through Lugate Airport. And Mr. Speaker, the ones that are bringing these drugs are people, not middle class people. They are people that really have what it takes, the money that one would not imagine to import these drugs, Mr. Speaker. So I am calling on the police to stop actually looking at the poor guys that actually take the drugs. Let them go behind the big bombs, the big guys. Those that are making millions of dollars in Sierra Leone out of drugs, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's a big cartel. It's a very, very big cartel with well-meaning Sierra Leoneans being involved in it, Mr. Speaker. We wouldn't want to call them out, but if they don't stop, if they continue destroying the lives of our brothers, citizens, we'll have no option but to stand here where we have immunity to debate, to call them out. Maybe when we call them out and they investigate them, they will stop. Mr. Speaker, with that said, I will want to debate on the young doctor going to the Environmental Protection Agency. I want to beseech all Sierra Leoneans for us to embark on healthy environmental activities. If you listen to the news, in the past 2 months, we've had incidents around the globe where countries have been losing hundreds of their citizens, thousands of their citizens as a result of environmental effects. In Sierra Leone, I will say without hesitation, we are all victims of not practicing healthy environmental or hygienic environmental activities. You will see a well-educated person littering the streets of Freetown after drinking a sachet of water or a rubber of water. That plastic itself is a pollution. If that plastic finds its way into the sea, then, Mr. Speaker, it will affect every aquatic organism in that water. Mr. Speaker, when you actually watch documentaries as to the effect of plastic waste onto the sea, Mr. Speaker, you realize that you get either animals or fish in the water dying as a result of either contacting plastic or the like. So I am beseeching, I'm calling on the Sierra Leonean populace for us to stop or control our plastic waste. If we control plastic waste, that will be very good for us. But that also takes us to the issue of river pollution, water pollution. Those that mine on the river bed. Like somebody said, if you are now going to Kenema, going to Kailam, all of the river beds are really brown because very well-meaning Sierra Leoneans are engaged in the mining of minerals right in the heart of the river, like the Sewa River. It's been banked in the middle and people mine on it. Mr. Speaker, if we don't stop these practices, our people, the poor people, those in the villages are going to be the ones most affected because, I mean, they don't have pipe-borne water. Most of them drink this water, and the water that they drink is already been polluted. It affects their health, and they die before time. So I am calling on you. I look forward to you. This house looks forward to you. That after being approved, you will do your job with a nationalistic lens. As you take that job, there are legislations in place. You do that job with a nationalistic lens. Those legislations should be followed, and I'm sure with the structure that you have, you will succeed. because I know for sure they have capable hands there, people very passionate about environmental issues. You will succeed. Back to the two professors. Both of them, like Honorable Ibrahim Tawakon Tesser, have contributed heavily in the academic field. Both of them are well known for education. If anyone is to ask me, I will say I will follow or I will support the motion of Honorable Tawa that if you are taking Professor Fodesa from the University of Sierra Leone, you really have to replace him with somebody who has passion for higher education, university education, as much as he had. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, nowadays, it goes without saying that we have our children trying to access university. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, if we don't really have somebody with the requisite knowledge ready to regulate those institutions, you will have a kid go to the university, come back, and not be able to do the basics. If he or she reads humanities, not being able to draft a simple letter. If he or she reads economics or mathematics, not being able to do basic calculations. I mean, I honestly believe, Mr. Speaker, that with the flagship program in the 5th Parliament with education being the flagship program of the 5th Parliament or the government of the 5th Parliament, I beseech this government to actually make sure the person who will be taking after Professor Fodesa is also as passionate, capable to handle that institution as he did to Professor Pakima. He did well when he was Minister of Education. I remember vividly once when attempts were being made to establish the Faculty of Law in Jala. At the point he had to put the heart to it because he wanted to do due diligence and make sure the infrastructure is right before that course actually kicked off in that particular institution. Going to the health sector, you've done loads of research. Public health is, not a newly emerging area, but it's one area that is really affecting the population, the global population today. And a few days ago, I met a colleague of mine, well, not a colleague of mine, somebody that went to university, asked at the time that I went to university. Then I asked him, are you still in clinical medicine? He said no. Then I said, why is it that most of you that graduate as medical doctors, after 2 years, 3 years, you actually don't practice clinical medicine, you veer into other areas? His answer was the attention that areas like public health and other disciplines actually require is far much greater than clinical medicine. But in Sierra Leone, all what we know is the clinicians. I have malaria, I have appendix, I want to go for operation. But what is actually killing us, Mr. Speaker, is things that have to do with public health, hygiene, and the like. So I am happy this House actually passed an act that is about to be implemented now. One thing I know about the institution where Professor Fodesa is going and where Professor Akima is going, my research tells me that the institution has not yet been set up. It is for them to go and start it from cradle. And I have no doubt with the knowledge that they have, their expertise, they are going to start that institution and bring it to the level that they had actually dreamed of. And at the end of the day, train up young doctors that will take after them. So my brother Colonel, I had known you. You are somebody that we have known for excellence. You are going to the procurement sector. But like the deputy leader said, if Sierra Leone is to succeed, then we all have to be in a position to fight graft. We all know that when people submit procurement documents, the prices are overbloated. We want you to go there and see how best we can checkmate all of these things. You are not going to say a ticket from Sierra Leone to Ghana that goes for $800 goes for $3,000 because it's going to be paid for by government. That money is not money won by lottery. Government money is also money. I mean, you are not going to enrich yourself. Where are you taking the $2,600? Let us get people actually making quotations that actually match the true value of the product that they are making the quotation for. Everybody wants to go for government contract, because when you go for government contract, you think you can overbloat the price and you can put monies into your pocket. And I am sure the Anti-Corruption Commission will be working very closely with you. This house will be watching. This is the 6th Parliament, and like what my colleague leader, like the leader said, we are the ones that will be going to account to the people. And what accounting to the people means, the way you people deliver. Please go, open your eyes to those loopholes where people have been manipulating figures and the like, and make sure you control it. To the young lawyer, Mr. Mansare, you have the zest to go into the area where you've been nominated to go. And one thing I admired about you, even after your nomination, you continue to practice the law. I want to say you blend your legal knowledge based with your field knowledge and deliver that area where you've been nominated. You are a young man, you are a youth, you've been there, you've had the crown call of your compatriots. So go there and actually do the needful. Back to Aviation Authority, I know it's an area that is highly challenging. Ms. Barry, I know the institution where you've come from, you were able to meander your way. For a young lady to start from a junior staff and end up as Director General in a British investment company in Sierra Leone, it's not an easy task. We know the challenges that we are up against. Honorable Tawakonte has just started highlighting some high taxation in the ticketing or in flights and the like. We want you to go and work with other institutions. I saw your minister here, the Minister of Transport, I saw the deputy here. The Aviation Authority has several other institutions that we work with. I am sure by the time it is December or January, going there as a patriot, you will be able to clean up, I don't want to call it a mess, you'll be able to clear up the backlog that has been affecting us Sierra Leoneans. We don't want to be living here and going to Guinea, or living here and going to Liberia. We want to see more flights coming in. We don't want to start hearing that this flight is leaving, or Sierra Leoneans do not have a flight to go directly to Sierra Leone because of high taxes. If these taxes can be cut down, and because the more you cut them down, you are actually impacting the populace. Because I mean, it's one industry where those that really travel has direct connection with. So when you cut it down, you are not cutting it down for your institution, you are cutting it down for the comfort and convenience of the Sierra Leonean populace, which is actually the object or mandate of governance. Governance is for the people that we govern to actually have very easy lifestyle. So I beseech you, when you go there, no matter how difficult the institution is, with your background in the private sector, your administrative background, your qualification in psychology, your qualification in business, being an expert in business administration, I beseech you to put all of those ideas together and make an impact on that institution within the shortest possible time, because we have no time to regain our numbers again at that particular airport. And also bear in mind that working as Director General, you also have direct bearing on the control of this very burning issue that we are talking about, which is drugs. I mean, it's no secret that issues of illegal drugs exportation has been around the Lunge airport. The other day, somebody told me that the moment a plane lands in Turkey, you see the Turkish officials coming from Sierra Leone, you see Turkish officials dashing at that particular plane, because for the past 6 months, the incidents in Turkey have been high. So when you go there, all of those institutions there, Sky Handling, SHP and the like, work with them so that we are able to reduce this incident. And I'm sure the police have had the allegations or aspersions cast at them. I'm sure the IGP himself is going to call his junior officers to attention, and with the commitment of this house, we'll all put hands together to actually control this drug incident. With that said, I want to wish you well and beseech all my colleagues that we basically pass you so that you can go back to work. Thank you.
I thank the honourable member for his contribution. It is now the turn of the honourable ladies of the House. And I'm very, very pleased to observe that they've consulted among themselves. And I can only see one lady seeking to catch my eye at this point. You have it now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I know the leaders and other senior colleagues have said a lot, and I think we should say there is no need to continue, but we still have a lot to say again. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I happen to be part of the panel to interview these nominees. And, you know, from what I heard from the different nominees, it really inspires me to say the president has done so well to appoint them in these different positions. I want to start with Dr. Joseph Kaifala on the Monument and Lyrics Commission. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you know, when Mr. Joseph Kaifala was asked, was told that, you know, the lyrics and monument don't have money, there's no money, and it's very difficult for Sierra Leone to say we identify different places. Mr. Kaifala said something which I really support, and Honorable Tawa also said it, that our culture, our tradition as Sierra Leoneans have been shown away. You know, in our native dialect, Kono, SO2, we have an adage that says, Batamakanyene. That is, we want to be Europeans, we can't cope. We want to be Sierra Leoneans, we are Sierra Leoneans, but we can't practice our own culture. Let's take example to our children. We have some of the Sierra Leonean children or our children from the provinces that come here to for further education. When you talk to them, for example, Kono, when they say, this is Sia Komba. When I say, oh, Sia, this is my brother, oh, this is my sister. We are the Freetown Konos. That means, you know, we have totally and entirely lost it. To an extent, you have people who are not even proud of where they come from.
We love to mimic.
That's it.
We love to mimic.
And we can't cope, you know. So I believe Mr. Kaifala is trying to say, Dr. Kaifala is trying to say, we have to revive what we have. You know, it talks about how to identify areas. If today we are called Freetown, that is because this was one of the places where they were able to bring the free slaves. And our chiefs in those days really accommodated these free slaves. But we don't have that story out there. We don't have it out there. Our children cannot talk about these stories. Like somebody talked about the war. And he also mentioned that we don't have any place to show that we were having a 10 or 11-year-old warrior. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me tell you, if you go to Konodi Street, Kamara Chiefdom, there is a place called Savage Pit, where people were murdered. And that place, they went and collected all the bones of people and put it in a place called Savage Pit Monument. But I'm telling you, Mr. Speaker, how many people are going there? Who do we have there to explain exactly why those bones are in that house? We don't have them. So, Mr. Kaifala, I know there are a lot of these places out there. I know you have not come to say, oh, if there is no money, I can't work. This is a stage. This is a stage where you have come in to ensure that we look out for our lyrics. We look out for our monuments and see how we can put them together so that people will know that we have an history. We have a history that we should talk about. And I encourage you. I know it will be difficult, but you have to go out there and find out about them. There is a place here at Fisher Street where they call Colbert. That was one of the houses where they brought the slaves to stay. And now somebody has owned that big house to say it's their property. But when you go there, you really see the rooms as slave rooms. But nobody has identified it. And nobody is talking about it. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I'm also one of the persons that will tell you I've not been to the museum 3 times. And there are people in Freetown, in Sierra Leone, that they have not been to the museum to even know about what is happening or what is our history. And that we have to find out about. And you, Mr. Dr. Kaifala, will have to help us. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you know, I have my interested topic, which I think so many of my colleagues have already identified me with it, which is the issue of climate change. Dr. Masakoi, when interviewed, I spoke with him before being interviewed. I find out that he's one of the fine gentlemen, one of the fine gentlemen in Sierra Leone that really worked very hard for Sierra Leone to be recognized as one of the countries fighting against climate change. And I am happy for that because already Sierra Leone, we are in deep climate change issue. If you find out, Mr. Speaker, even when it is raining season, the place is very hot. This is not natural. This is because of the activities going on in our country that is affecting the climate. I remember when I was small, when they say rain, people would say the place is very cold. But now, the place is even hotter than as usual. And that is because of climate change. And I'm telling you, if climate change issues are not handled in Sierra Leone, I know all over the world it is there, but in Sierra Leone, it will affect tourism. It will affect tourism. It will affect agriculture. Now we are saying agriculture, food security is our flagship. If the climate change issue in Sierra Leone continues, people will be willing to do agriculture, they will do their farms, even with our cash crops, but they will need no fruits because climate change will affect it and the harvest will be very poor. So all of us have a stake to ensure we minimize the emission rates in Sierra Leone. It will also affect good health. You see sometimes when the place gets very hot, people will go and put on AC or fan. People get sick because the place is hot. It even affects the area of food security in a sense. If you go to the market today to buy fish, because we are not having enough fish, because of the climate change is affecting our waters, what is happening? We are losing our marine products. We are losing it big time. And so even the little ones we get, they are very costly. So, Dr. Masakwe, I believe you are the right person. From our discussion, what you talked about your role in ensuring we have a very good NDCs, the implementation of those NDCs should not just stop on papers. They should be extended for people to understand the impact of climate change on whatever we do in this country. For example, you remember I told you that even we as members of parliament, we need to be trained, we need to be capacitated to understand the issues of climate change in our country, so that we'll go back to our constituents and talk to them about what climate change is already doing, so that we ensure we all contribute to minimize climate change issues. Honorable members, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I saw, people we are talking about, Professor Kakima and Professor Sa. When I sat closer to the leader of government business and he was talking about these two gentlemen, I say, SO2, and people are not science man. They have done a lot of research, and those researches are not only recognized in Sierra Leone, but internationally, which I think we should be proud of. I believe they are just here because of protocol, safe procedure, but we all know these two gentlemen have done a lot for Sierra Leone, and I believe they will be doing a lot more in the health sector because we need it. Yes, I know they will do it. But please, Professor, maybe I want to make one request. Now in Sierra Leone, the health sector, the diagnosis of people in hospitals is very poor. You find out that, I don't know where they manufacture this language of malaria typhoid. When you go to so many places, they say do malaria typhoid test. Is there anything called malaria typhoid? So to an extent, people get confused. They don't know whether the treatment is for malaria or it's for typhoid. They say check for malaria and typhoid. Maybe you have to do research to see if there is anything called malaria typhoid. And also, so many clinics or private health clinics in this country, when you go to them, they will almost tell all the patient that you have ulcer. Example with my husband. My husband went to one of these private clinics. He went for pain because he normally gets pain on his leg. He went for that and they did all the tests. They said, you have ulcer. But my husband, I know, he's a very good eater. So I start imagining, where does this ulcer come from? So in fact, my husband has taken this perception and now he will say, oh, Honorable Becky, I can feel this may just SO2. In the one, I can't have me back. I said, my dear, you told me about pain on your leg. So from the day you went to that hospital and came back, you said the doctor said ulcer. You start talking about ulcer now. So please, I think we have good hospitals, but I think their diagnosis and other things are geared towards malaria, typhoid, and ulcer. And in fact, to get it it's getting out of hand. We are using a lot of antibiotics in this country. Almost all of our drugs are antibiotics, but with different names. People will say, I've taken this one and it's not working. They have prescribed another, but when you read it, it's antibiotic. So maybe the health sector will help us in that area so that our people stop taking a lot of antibiotics. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I want to talk to Mr. Atata for the Youth Commission. I know already there is some fever going on for Youth Council elections. Tempers are going up, and in fact it's being politicized to an extent. You find out that some people are saying, oh, you don't belong to my party, you belong to this party. Please, Mr. Atata, I know you will be approved by the grace of God, but please, you have to go around to the districts to talk to young people to say this is not a war. This is for us to work for our young people and ensure they choose the right people to represent them. I want to end up with my sister. You know, she made me feel very good when she was answering to questions posed to her, and I believe she will make it. My sister, President Bio has appointed a lot of women in this government, and you will help us to get more women in subsequent governments if only you do your work. You will not be able to do everything. You will not be able to change all the wrongs, but you have to make your mark. You have to do your best so that people will always think of you that, oh, when Madam Barry was here, she was able to do this. So that there will be a pointer, there will be marks that you leave, and people will remember you that, oh, it's good women are in this position. When that woman was here, this was what she did. I know God will really help you. It's not easy sometimes. Sometimes you get challenges, but you have to be very flexible. You have to ensure you create more human relationships. That will make your work easier and lighter. On this note, Mr. Speaker, I want to join other colleagues to ensure that all these nominees are approved. And I want to encourage the nominees to go and work. You are not working for yourself. You are not working for SLPP. You are working for the people of Sierra Leone. You are working for your name. You are working for your children, because your names will be on the names of your children. They will say, don't you know Dr. Masako? This is Dr. Masako's son or daughter. So if you do any bad work, that will follow them. So I'm encouraging you to go and work for this country so that we change the dynamics of whatever is going wrong. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Honorable Lady who will now wind up this debate. And it's indeed my pleasure to recognize the acting leader of the opposition.
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank His Excellency for nominating these fine ladies and gentlemen of the Republic of Sierra Leone, because it's about putting our people first. And I want to wish them the best of luck, because these people are well educated. They've studied all their lives, and I think that His Excellency picked the right people. It's not about party lines. It's about picking the right people to make sure that our people get the best. I want to keep my speech very, very short. I want to bring two things to talk very shortly about a personal friend of mine, Ms. Musira Barry, because she's not just young, but she's well educated, and I've known her for a long time. I know that she is the right person and has the right experience for this job. And also to Professor Sa and Bagima for the public health sector. I want to wish you guys the best of luck, because wish you the best of luck. We talk about the health sector. The illegal labs that are being brought to our country because they cannot do it in other countries. I hope that you guys monitor it and make sure that our people are kept safe, and not used as an experiment, as a lab. Just like the Tuskegee experiment that America faced from 1932 to 1972, when they used syphilis to experiment on blacks. I hope that the both Professor Sa and Professor Magema look into that and make sure that our people are being taken care of. With the vaccines that are coming out, just like my colleagues from the SLTV said over there, that these vaccines will be monitored to make sure that it's not any type of vaccines that are being placed into our people we hope that the same vaccines that are being used overseas will be used for our people, like the Johnson & Johnson or the AstraZeneca. I hope that you guys make sure that it's the same standards that are being given to our people for these vaccines that are coming out very soon. Because of COVID and Ebola, every year we're getting new strands that are coming out. We don't know which one is good for our people. We've got to make sure that these vaccines are monitored and make sure that it's being given to our people. Again, I want to thank His Excellency, and I want to thank all the nominees. I know you guys are well educated, and your families and friends are all here to support you. And I wish you guys the best of luck, because you've studied all your lives for this position. And I hope that you do the right thing for our people, because our people comes first. And I know His Excellency input, just because you write the SLPP, you put the right people for the job, not because of green and red, because you guys have studied all your lives and you know what is right. And I think He did pick the right people. And I wish you guys the best of luck. And I want to cut it short, and I just want to thank His Excellency and our people. Just like, again, back to Mr. Dr. Sar and Dr. Bagima, our preparedness in case anything happens. We need to prepare ourselves for any type of outbreak, not dependent on the WHO or the white people or the foreigners to come to our help. We have to put things in order. We have to put strategies in order in case of any type of outbreak. And I pray for the best for you guys. Make sure that you do the right thing. I want to thank the speaker for this time, and I wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you very much.
The acting. Leaders of the application. Over to you now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, colleagues, for wonderful contributions for the various nominees. We did our best to interview them and bring them to the fore this chamber for approval. Mr. Speaker, as I read the presentation, we realized that academically they have their own right to be where they are today. Administratively, yes, you have done it somewhere, but the offices can never be homogeneous. Human beings are very dynamic, and there are certain sectors that are very difficult to take. So it's good to see some of the nominees, like Dr. Kaifala, who was very passionate before this time in working in the Monument and Relics Commission. And if you are following him carefully, besides the appointment given to him, he has been doing a lot of work at the vaccine, and even talking about promoting Sierra Leone. So in fact, in the interview, he said, I even had to promote this Fairness Commission to the UNESCO more to prove that we can do something better, and Sierra Leone is a place to be in terms of Monument and Relics Commission and what we need. There's so many things to show. In fact, he went as far as telling of Parliament that Parliament needs to have their own some monument, but he made reference to us, just telling us that we all need to work together to support him. And exactly that is what, when you have passion for something, it's different from you just coming in as if you just want to walk in to do your own bit. But it was a very intriguing and also educative when we have a discussion with Dr. Kaifara, and realized that as a young man, spent all his life in consultancy and with freelance work for other institutions. So sometimes not everybody really is looking out for every year you have to talk about money. Sometimes you need to promote society with the knowledge you have, with the skills you have. You have been working for Sierra Leone in so many areas. So thank you very much for what you have been doing. And you can see him in his attire. He's a very proactive Sierra Leonean. He doesn't mix matters. He has gone through the length and breadth of all the sectors of education, looking at his profile. So we just need to support him. Some of these things can give us a lot of praises globally. To the health brothers, which you said is deemed to be ordained as the professors. We have seen what they have done. Sometimes when you try to look low on Sierra Leoneans, I see ourselves as, we are making ourselves very inferior. For some Sierra Leoneans, they are making themselves very superior, whether locally or globally. So I'm very proud of these two professors we have. They are not only contributed in the journals of Sierra Leone, they have contributed in so many journals in terms of academics or in terms of the health sector. So in fact, I don't need to even go over again what they have done. But one of the things I want to bring to your mind, and we deliberated on at the level of the committee, Mr. Speaker, which I will give you attention. I've read this issue of taking for the very first time. But perhaps, in fact, some of us were following carefully what he was doing. They did what they call, people are afraid to feed the Ebola patients. We make sure that it was Dr. Sa and his team who did a true way of feeding the Ebola patients. How can you say I speak to somebody's not going to feed? Because everybody was afraid to give food to Ebola patients. So they improvised a method using the tube where they can give to the patients so they can get sustenance in terms of nutrition, in terms of food. So they did that one. But what was really interesting, and what was in particular, I asked Professor Sa to tell us that you have to tell us, well, Emmanuel, why did you take the blood of Ebola victims, the specimen of all of the tests, those who have been affected, to put a patient of Ebola? And I said, there must be underlying circumstances or conditions. He said he agreed, Mr. Speaker. He agreed, but what he said, I first we tried to screen the patient. As a scientist, he wanted to know. He said, I will screen the patient. When I screen the patient, I will not take my time to see if what I'm looking for can just fit into my plan to make sure that the patient is cured. I mean, out of a lot, we are very successful, and it's on records today that is what they did as well. So I asked him another question about Uganda. I said, we need to understand that you are called to Uganda to do something. He said, yes, I was called. Somebody to do 149 publications. I think we should be proud of such running. And what is interesting in the field, the chairman and the executive secretary, the director rather, for the health agency, Professor Pakiba, he has been like a superior in terms of monitoring and even mentorship for Professor Sa. So we have been working together. You can see we talk about with co-author. We have looked at their publications. Professor Pakima said, I co-author this research with Professor Sa. And Professor Sa said, in fact, in the three last 47, 48, 47, 48, 49, all was geared towards co-authored by Professor Pakima from Professor Sa publications. So, I mean, it's good for us, members of parliament, to give a lot of support to these two professors. They are not just mere rhetoric, because we have people who can talk. These people, they cannot even talk. Professor Sa, you cannot, You have heard about this thing. Academically, they are doing well. And when you want to explain to you, like Professor Sa, he said, in fact, to build a system is like to have a soldier in your system. So for us to understand what he was doing in terms of the when we interacted with Professor Bakiba, and he said, we have been in this thing. He said, what to prove, he said, I did work to make sure that there are certain things that we do, and that is for Sierra Leone, and we continue to do our work for Sierra Leone. That is what we should do. We should be proud of what we are doing. This is what I'm very proud of the people. We continue to do it, and they all acknowledge that they are going to get challenged in the health sector. You know very well, because they are working in the health sector for far too long. So you know the challenge. There are people who will never accept reforms. There are people who reject reforms because they want to have their own ways. So I've heard about diagnostic problems, which Honorable Rebecca was talking about. I heard about my brother on the other side, Honorable Thompson, talking about having if we are having vaccines for Sierra Leone, it should be the same vaccine recommended by WHO that you can use in America, in the West, in the same vaccine used in Africa. But I don't doubt Professor Fakima, based on what I read and what they have been doing, they have been working with this institution. That makes a difference. So President is very, as he said, Dr. Honorable Thompson, President is a very careful and very tactical man. He has put them together to make sure that some of these things that we're having, they can able to combat them. And indeed they can do it. Because these are not strange to what is happening. So to fix the health sector, it's not merely talking about it, but it has to take somebody who knows how to go about putting everything together. In terms of research, in terms of any working relationship, your respect with your colleagues that you are working with. Imagine, may Lord forbid, when we are talking about Corona. When there was Corona, they brought in Dr. Sa, a Professor Sa, because they had their experience in the Ebola. And all of these people, talking about now the health agency, they cannot be new to them. To all of us to happen. The only thing that we can do, we approve them, but we don't leave them in isolation. Members of Parliament, we have our committees, thank God the chairperson is sitting over there. We need to support them. And we don't need to support them by the rhetoric. If they come, we see that people are not complying, they are not adhering to the acts that they are supposed to adhere to. It's responsible for Parliament to bring them to book. I mean, some of these people, they are very professional. They cannot go after you much because they believe they are on record for doing the right thing. That's why they are here today. They said the president, his own wisdom, has given them the opportunity to serve. I salute you people. Thank you very much. And for the field of the academics, they are always there. They have served so much, so we don't talk about that much. But we need to take our health sector very serious. If you diagnose, you have a solution. If you don't, if you give wrong diagnosis, you have the wrong treatment, and it leads to early death. That is the formula. But if you did the right diagnosis, you had the right treatment that will prolong your life. So let's think about it and see how best we can do support. And for Mr. Conan, the man who has served most of his time in the procurement sector. I mean, he said one thing as a young man. He said, see, this issue of young people, it's not about age. It's about what you are capable to deliver. At the early 30s, he had been in the procurement circle for far too long. And he said, yes, I was at the directorate at the Ministry of Finance. I was there to ensure the value for money. But he said, if offices are created by the civil service, a creature of the civil service, I have no alternative but to work there. That shows that with humility, with strength, and he's a humble servant. So he cannot argue his superior or to serve. I think that's the challenge we'll be having with the Ministry of Finance and Parliament. Mr. Speaker, if I recall, when they brought in the Finance Act, we argued, we had a lot of confrontations. And colleagues on the other side, we are saying, no, it doesn't necessary. But if the service thinks that they need to do it, Parliament can bend backwards to accommodate them. And he has proven that one to us, that he did not interfere with the regulatory body. He did not interfere. He was very professional to physically examine what was going on in the procurement sector. If we want to fight corruption, it starts with procurement process. It starts with the procurement process. So we are seeing, because President Bill is serious to fight corruption. And he said, I'm not going to take any person outside. I'm going to follow the trend, because he has been in the trend. So he can follow the good things from his predecessor. So Mr. Cornell, I mean, administratively, I don't have any doubts in you, because you have been at that level. You served in the Ministry of Health, And I believe even at the committee stage, critical questions were asked, and it took his time slowly to explain. He was not argumentative, but he told us the things that you're supposed to know, and we understood them exactly. So thank you very much for that brilliant presentation in this committee. Mr. Speaker, I have started since I came back from recess. I started this somewhere, and I will use the platform to reach out. Colleagues, we are affected. We are here today because we have a platform to serve and we are honorable members. But woe be upon us if we fail to protect the generation coming up behind us. That is what exactly will follow us. They will chase us in our corners. They will go to our houses, and that is what they are supposed to do because we fail to protect them. And I go directly for attack, a government and a friend, a lawyer, who is going to serve at the commission. It is not about rhetoric. This time it's about reality. Very soon, we'll present to this house the steps that government is going to take in terms of combating taking in harmful substances, drugs abuse, the cocaine, the marijuana, the cracks, the kush. Mr. Speaker, there's so much noise about kush. But questions we ask ourselves, what are we doing to combat this menace in our society? And Mr. Atata told us that it is not about talking about this push issue or drugs or harmful intakes. It is about those who are victims should not be abused. They are victims. These guys are so in stress. The war, the civil war, is a living testament of what we need to do. The consequences of the war we need to follow, Mr. Speaker. These we have ignored because of cheap politics. We want to ignore our young people. But Mr. Atata and the minister and other people, they are still focused on the bigger picture. And we said, why do you need to incarcerate the victims? Why do we need to incarcerate them? And people are happy also to arrest them as also kush smokers. Who gave the kush to these guys? How did they manage to come in contact with the kush? Who? It was those who have the money. They don't take it. But they intoxicate our young people. They have it around. They do the chemistry to have the excessive form of kush in our country. When they come with it, they add more chemicals to it. So look at the guys that are moving in the street. Look at the way they are behaving like animals. So what do? We keep on telling them that, oh, but they don't take SO2 and disband them. Is that what we are going to describe them? These are the people that you are used to vote for us. What are we doing as legislators? I like Atata's statement. And we need to go after, take them out of the prison of the correctional centers. You need to rehabilitate them. Police arresting them because they are done stealing, they are under influence. They are not under normal temperature and pressure, Mr. Speaker. They are abnormal. They can do anything because of the influence, because we have refused to protect them. And as lawmakers, it is not law legislation. It is about enforcing the legislation. So for me, we have them in the prison cells. We should be advocating to take them out to the rehabilitation center. Let me tell you, they are not going to get any corrections because they are being manhandled, they are being misused, and they are victims. I was once a youth. Today I have a better platform to where I am today because my father gave me to it. Because I had the opportunity to be where I am today. So if they don't have, society must provide for them. Society must provide for them. And Mr. Atata, I talk to you as a comrade and a brother and a friend. It is not about rhetoric. You are very empathic. I know you are a very outspoken person. You are an orator. Don't fear nobody. Let us fight for these young people. Forget about votes. Protect their future. When they protect their future, let us go after those who are importing the drugs. Who are they? They are not better than anybody. But the youth are better for us than what they are doing. They are more a disaster in our society than anything you can think of. They are cancers to young people. Those drug dealers, those who are infecting our young people. And at the end of the day, when they take the kush, when they take the marijuana, when they take the cocaine and the cracks and you name them, we look at our friends, our brothers, as if they are useless. They are not useless. They are not useless. Society did not make them useless. In the creation of God, we can be same. Whether man or woman, we can be same. We are all given names. Right? So we should protect them. So if society is unfair to them, what do? We stand tall to protect them. For me, I will stand tall and plead with the government. Those who are inside because they have taken kush, because because they are victims. They should not be incarcerated. Even the crimes that they have committed, if you check them, they did not commit crime under normal circumstances because they are under influence. And what have we done? We contributing. Let me tell you, Mr. Speaker, what have we doing? Because of cheap politics, because we want them to popularize ourselves, we are in our people. We don't pray to talk to them to say, look, don't take this thing. What we do, we put hands in our pockets, give them money. Goods for you to take is 5,000 euros, in the new currency is 5 million. When you give them 20,000 euros, you are not helping them. You are taking them to the same centers where they are going to take push. That is not a help. That is not a popularized move. That is making you very infamous. But when you talk to them, take them to rehabilitation centers, give them jobs. Let us go after those who give jobs to say, these are our youth. Let us provide for them. Let us create their environment. You are not a good politician if I cannot take care of your young people. You have failed your people. Just like how do you look at people? You look at good politicians when you look at the way they handle their prisoners. If you don't handle your prisoners very well, society can never change. Society can never change. Because after they are served, they are going to come back to society. They will do the same thing. Because you have not cheated. So exactly you have a very big challenge. Some of these things you have to see them. Politics is gone. President Biya knows that. This is time for our people. That is why we are saying we go after people. And that is what we are going to do. Gone are those who talk about rhetorics because we want to get vote. This is not voting time. This is time for development. It is time to change the structure of our country. It is a time to change the trajectory. It is combination. It is we in government, whom the people voted for us, whom we have good products in our society to make our youth a better place. So we are proud to have you, Mr. Atata. If you have approved, I believe that you will succeed. Fear nobody. Fear the law, but don't fear nobody. Mr. Speaker, I will go on and on and on. But let me say this, and I need your attention. I will end up with the league. It's a deliberate, but I'm ending up with the league. People don't feel as if they are above the law. We are here, we are not above the law. We should not have compromises when we talk about laws. We should not make ourselves as if we are champions in their mistakes. That's why we don't believe in democracy, we don't believe in people, we believe in institutions. And the fundamental pillars of institutions is the rule of law. The rule of law, Mr. Speaker. But what is happening? When we are going, we want to have a progressive state. When we have to have synergy between one department and the other, there are others with different motives. But they fail to realize that there are laws protecting every institution. Every institution. Somebody who has served in a sector, she has proven some skills. She has proven something that we have not seen, and she has given us that skill, which has led to our airport in the aviation industry with some amount of respect and integrity. Mr. Speaker, there is no vacuum. No vacuum in appointments. When we started this appointment, for every nominee, for the ministers in particular, I read section 62 of the Constitution. I read it to them. I said, if there is no director at the department, if there is no body at that particular sector at the moment, it's the responsibility of the minister to take charge. It is clearly enshrined in section 62 of the Constitution. And I've read that one to the committee. I read it in the chamber, Mr. Speaker. So when we had this appointment, earlier on, I don't know whether by mistake or by design, and somebody was choosing to act in the capacity as the Director General for the aviation, civil aviation. Why do you need to put somebody in acting capacity? I told one of the ministers, I said that is wrong. And I will say it. There is no lacuna. There is no reason to have somebody acting. So you are more in the water before she gets in. So what they have done, Mr. Speaker, whatever law has given them that provision to put acting capacity in this particular position that has to do with the Director General of the Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority, SLCAA, is in null and void. Because the Constitution makes provision for a minister to be coming when there is a gap, when you don't have a substantive person. And in fact, we are in transition. There's a transition. The transition is very clear that she is waiting for us to approve her. It's a process. And thereafter somebody came in acting, whether by mistake or by design, according to section 171, subsection 50 of 1991 Constitution, Mr. Speaker, Jolene, that particular provision giving that power to that individual acting in that capacity, once you are waiting for the lady to come, is void. Run and void. That provision makes it very clear. There is no law greater than the Constitution. Which here just says it's gone wrong. So why do you need to put somebody's acting? When you go there, don't be afraid. When you approve anything that they have done to undermine your authority, if not to the minister, by section 62 given to the minister, comes to them. They come to Parliament to support you. That's why I've quoted the provisions. Sometimes where there are mistakes, they say mistakes. But when there are laws, the law takes precedence. We follow the laws. The laws are there to protect institutions. We don't believe in jungle democracy. We believe in pure democracy. So we cannot be happy waiting time for us to have our nominees, and they are busy doing other things. Somebody acting in that capacity, somebody in the capacity acting for security sector at the airport gave us some credibility. Go and check the records, and the woman for that matter. She has served in a very better capacity. We should give her the support. We should not be seen. This issue about political nomenclature, I need not to put on color to show that I'm SLP. Even by mere of my argument, by mere of my presentation, you know that I'm a better man in the SLP. So you don't need, when you employ people, you are employing them because you are sierraleonean. And that is what it should be. Yes, I can't pay for you because you are my friend, but I believe that you must be qualified and fit into that position. So it has any reason to undermine the authority of the people or authority of anybody going in that capacity. So let us work together. Let us look at ourselves as sierraleoneans and let us serve in the interest of the state. That makes us a better place to live. In the interest of the one people, one country. There's nothing going to change. I don't need chorus, but I need to support the ideology and philosophy of political party in conjunction with the view of the people I'm serving. It should not be separate. And there is no human being who is serving people that can go against the interests of the people. You are not a human being. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for appreciating us. My colleagues, I'm very happy you are giving us time to assess these nominees. But as I said, even we are talking about the professors, we are talking about all of the other nominees. Of course, we have dealt with the climate change. I don't want to go into much because we are going to get exhaustive discussion for climate change, where we can have MPs to come on board, where we can, we as Parliament, will take a center stage in fighting climate change. But Mr. Speaker, let me tell you one thing, what is affecting our climate change. And then I told these guys that they feel money can fight climate change. I told them, I said, Venatua, you're seeing, is going down. But we can only fight climate change when we put humanity first. Because human face is going. We are not putting humanity in fighting climate change. All what we are putting is jargon that has to do with climate this, and climate finance is deceiving. They have skewed climate finance to their own interest. They have not put humanity first. So, Mr. Chairman coming in, if we put humanity to fight climate change, we can succeed. So we can realize that when we are doing allocation of resources, we can put resources where necessary. So they brought in this allocation of resources, vulnerable countries. So they did not mention Sierra Leone. And I challenged them. I said, if you are talking about climate finance, I said, if you put the face of humanity first, Sierra Leone should be at the top of the agenda in terms of climate finance. But now I did not see Sierra Leone there. They said, oh, there's Sierra Leone. Let me go to the UN presentation. It was an interesting argument, Mr. Speaker, in Mozambique. I said, no, I deliberately refused to Google. And they brought out the way they came. Oh, look at Sierra Leone. I said, no, you should discuss Sierra Leone because we are the most vulnerable country. But Mr. Speaker, but we are not the most people are disturbing the climate. We have emitted very, very less. You check them. When they are talking about fighting climate change, they are talking about having other issues that they have not abandoned. The carbon emission, they are dealing with it excessively. Then I took out the presentation, to them. I said in Germany, there is demonstration. They are still using school. They are still using them. Your emission, your CO2 emission is high. As I said, Sierra Leone, in fact, we are less industrialized, but we are mostly affected. So I said, they have not put humanity first. They have not. So because they are big first, they have the money. When they do this climate financing, in fact, they are really shortfall of financing. They give themselves more allocation and they forget about us. So this business of rhetoric is not in Israel. It's all over the global stage. So, Mr. Speaker, as I said, we have a few steps ahead. But if we believe in them, if we help them as MPs, if we do our oversight very well, and we give them necessary legislative support, I think we can succeed as Sierra Leone. We can move on. The business of democracy is about challenge. The fear of accident cannot stop us from driving. Whether you go to Germany, you go to anywhere, you go to America, democracy is about people. The definition is all about people inside the definition. So for us, we are all people. So in terms of democracy, we are all the same. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you all. God bless us all.
You kindly move now.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the 7th report of the first session of the Committee on Appointment and Public Service be adopted by the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, the question is that the 7th report of the first session of the 6th Parliament of the Committee on Appointments and the Public Service be adopted by the House, and that the recommendations contained therein be approved. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. And those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Motion of the Committee on Appointments and the Public Service has been approved.
It is now my pleasant duty to add my own voice of commendation and congratulations to the chorus of congratulations coming from members of this honorable House. There is no question whatsoever that the nominees we have before us are all, without exception, they are all exceptionally qualified for the positions to which His Excellency the President has nominated them and this House has just approved. We now look forward to them taking up their new responsibilities and living up to the trust and confidence that both the head of the executive and this Parliament have imposed in all of them. Speaking for myself, I have no doubt, looking at the pedigree and the background, the resume of each of the nominees, that they will not disappoint this nation, let alone this Parliament. So I join all of you who have spoken to wish them the very best wishes in their new assignments, and to say they go there with the goodwill, trust and confidence of this House. And we look forward to nothing less than the highest achievement by all of you. Go to your new offices with our blessings and God's blessings, and we wish you good luck. Any announcements?
Please listen and observe the following announcement. Initiative in Capacity Building Association International, in collaboration with the Ministry of Basic and Senior Education, invites all honorable members to a Spelling Bee event on the 25th October at State Hall Parliament, 10 a.m. to enable Sierra Leonean children represent Sierra Leone at the African Spelling Bee in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia in November. Members of the Trade Committee will hold its inaugural meeting today, 12th October 2023, immediately after sitting of Parliament. The said meeting will take place in the conference room of the new administrative building. The Chairman Committee on Agriculture and Food Security hereby invites the membership of the committee to an urgent meeting at his office immediately after sittings today. Please endeavor to attend and on time, as pertinent issues will be discussed. The Chairman Committee on Local Government and Community Affairs hereby invites the membership to an urgent meeting immediately after sittings today at the Administrative Building, House of Parliament. Please endeavor to attend. Thank you.
With that, honorable members, the House will stand adjourned to Thursday, the 19th of October, 10 a.m.
Thank you, Sierra Leoneans, as Madam Viewing, as we be there today for the first commencement of Parliament, where Parliament began recess. And today, the first sitting after recess. So, as we will resume again on Thursday, 19th of October, and we go there again. This is the Unity Broadcasting. Thank you for viewing us. We go left on now.